In Trafalgar Square in London this morning, the flag on South Africa House was at half-mast. Down below, the messages, flowers and other tributes were beginning to pile up, passers-by quietly adding their tokens. Among the mourners who came to sign the Book of Condolence, David Cameron.
The abiding memory I have is just seeing him in Johannesburg and him talking about the people who had imprisoned him and the suffering he'd undergone, and yet his complete forgiveness, his total lack of malice towards those who had done this to him.
Across the Atlantic, where news of Nelson Mandela's death came after darkness, the American flag was also raised to half-mast on the White House, and President Obama made a heartfelt tribute, which was deeply personal.
I am one of the countless millions who drew inspiration from Nelson Mandela's life. My very first political action, the first thing I ever did that involved an issue or a policy or politics, was a protest against apartheid.
And in New York, the passing of a great leader was mourned both in Times Square and at the United Nations, where diplomats in the Security Council paused in silent tribute. Across the globe, messages from world leaders have poured in. China's president recalled Mandela's friendship with China. India's Prime Minister lamented the passing of a giant among men. Russia's president called him an outstanding politician, and Brazil's president mourned one of the greatest figures of the 20th century. A torrent of tributes also came from African leaders.
We will all miss the most cherished of Africa's sons and a true African hero. President Nelson Mandela lived an extraordinary life in a very ordinary way.
The Queen said she remembered her meetings with Mr. Mandela with great warmth and was deeply saddened.
Would you like to come and take a seat here?
Prince Charles, who took him round Brixton, recalled his humour and his courage. He seemed to have touched everyone who met him. Former US President Bill Clinton said he'd lost a true friend. Former British Prime Minister Tony Blair praised him as a great man who'd made racism not just immoral, but stupid. And South African actress Charlize Theron said though Mandela would be missed, his impact would live forever. By chance, last night was the London premiere of the new film of his life, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge in attendance, and visibly shocked afterwards when the news of his death was announced.
We're just reminded what an extraordinary and inspiring man Nelson Mandela was, and my thoughts and prayers are with him and his family right now. Thank you.
More members of the royal family were at South Africa House this morning for a towering figure whose impact on the world has surely been monumental. Bridget Kendall, BBC News.